Okay, hello. How are you? Let's get this lighting down a little bit. It's in my eyes. Okay, so I wanted to do a video on Asperger's syndrome. And, we look normal. We speak normal. And you would say, well, he doesn't have any impairments. There's nothing wrong with this person. Because to the general public, we look intelligent. As a matter of fact, there's people like Temple Grandin and the guy, John, I can't even think of his name, the guy who wrote Look Me in the Eye. I'll think of it later. Basically, they are success stories. And they had success stories. They had problems in their lives, but they made it. Temple Grandin had college. She's a very smart woman. But a lot of people with Asperger's syndrome didn't make it, or didn't make any money in life, were very intelligent and didn't know what all the problems were. So to those people who think that we're normal and that we're intelligent and that we don't need any help with anything, and of course we want to be independent as people with Asperger's syndrome, let me give you an idea of, over time, what happens when you start to get to know somebody with Asperger's syndrome. Let me just expound upon the notes that I was reading and how I start talking to people. Do you know what gastroparesis is? Oh, probably a lot of people do. What about incretin? DPP4? Peptidase. Disautonoma autonomic dysfunction. These are things that I've been looking over. Postural orthostatic tricardia. POTS syndrome. Aspergillus. Oh, this is the funny thing. Aspergillus is a mold, right? This mold is something in the gut that's supposed to be help you with Asperger's syndrome, and it has the name Aspergillus on there. Like, I'm wondering if scientists just or people are messing with our minds and making all of this stuff up. It's funny. You ever see these pictures on Wikipedia or on the internet, and they're supposedly proteins, and they have genetic codes, and there are all these little things, and they look like somebody took ribbons, right? And they pulled out the ribbons as if they were going to make a bow, and it made a curly, and they threw all these curly colored ribbons together and took a picture of it and said, "Oh yeah, this is that." How do I know what it is? How do I know that that's not what they did? How do I know if there isn't monkeys drawing stuff out? Of course. I mean, I think man knows to a certain degree, but I think that they're like Freudian idiots. Okay? Methylcobalamin, B12. Methyl B12. Okay? And these are all things that have to do with things that pertain to my study on Asperger's syndrome. Phenols, salicylates, PST, sulfate deficiency, PST, phenol sulfate transferase. Now, I stay up all night and I study, and you say, well, that's a good thing too, but when I start talking, I start to lose people. I start to talk about things, and people don't want to hear it anymore because they're normal. And that might not be a bad thing. But the main thing is that because of, I believe, copper toxicity, which causes a lot of these symptoms of not being able to handle social interaction, which is probably the biggest problem with Asperger's syndrome. It's not how smart you are. It's all the whacked out things that are going on in your head, as if something toxified you. And I really do believe it could be copper, it could be a lot of different things. And talking about old brain and new brain, and how your mind gets all between supposedly two people, and your ability to think. So there are problems with social interactions, and the anger and the stress and even the sensitivity to fluorescent lights, thousands of people around, noises everywhere, all that interference may, when I focus on something, help me to focus on something, but in the world it makes me unable to function, keep a job. The short span of attention makes me smart but dumb. Some of the things I did and some of the things I thought or couldn't understand when people were speaking, like, I didn't get that. What did you say? And the reason why is because we think literally, There are certain screwy problems that come with this gift and a curse, which I can't explain to everybody, except for that because of this, I've not been able to really. You don't keep a job. You don't keep relationships. You tend to destroy relationships because of just issues that might not be there if you weren't toxified. I believe you were toxified. I don't believe these traits are just normal. I believe that they're the result of toxicity in the body. A lot of people with autism will tell you, well, I don't want to cure because I don't want to not be me. Because I like me. I like the ability to speak languages. Je parle français. I love that. Tengo la habilidad de hablar español. I can study like crazy. And so I have a tendency to be, some people with autism are very intelligent, but they can't function. And see, it's the functionality. I want the coolness of being able to think cool thoughts and learn about things, and learn subjects really well, like languages, and get into cultures and think and be artistic and everything like that. But when I'm unable to relate to other people, that's a crusher right there. Or when I get overloaded, or sometimes when I get brain fog, or all of these things happen. And when I was younger, I was stone-faced. And just not being able to connect with people makes me very lonely. And it causes a lot of issues. And I'm sure a lot of people with Asperger's would tell you some of the same things. I can tell you, not everybody with Asperger's is the same. When I was younger, I was more straight-faced. I probably, because of nervous laughter, I laughed more. I made facial content, facial expressions, because of course I was nervous about even facial face-to-face communication. And it could be a result of fluoride and copper on the pineal gland, causing you to be more submissive or more fearful, more shameful for no reason. There are a lot of crazy, whacked out things that happened, I believe, because of a poison. I believe that we were poisoned by the fluoride in the water. And people say, the whole debate, sodium fluoride is good for you. Sodium fluoride is absorbed much more than they say, there's fluoride naturally on the earth and in the water. Yes, the fluoride salt that's naturally out there is called calcium fluoride, ladies and gentlemen. Calcium fluoride is not the sodium fluoride that they put in toothpaste or in your water, and the other type of fluoride. Okay, that fluoride, sodium fluoride, they say, that's the kind of fluoride that penetrates your teeth. Yeah, it's also the type of fluoride that passes the blood-brain barrier and puts huge amounts because it's absorbed more by the body. Sodium fluoride. It's poison. It was used for rodents. This is amazing, okay? Let me tell you something about the madness of man, okay? They do research on rats to test drugs to see what the effect on the rat will be, right? So that this way they can do trial tests on humans, correct? Well, did you know that fluoride is a rat poison? So if they did clinical trials on mice, what would happen? Well, on certain levels, the thing would die. It's toxic. And now they're giving it to humans. And I believe for the purpose, okay, of mass control of the people. And you say, that's a conspiracy theory. Yes, it is. And people better open your eyes because they're out there. These Freudian nut jobs, Nietzscheism, whack people that give you all sorts of, have been playing with trying to control the masses. Give us one world government and put everybody under our thumb. Oh, you don't believe it. That's the problem. See, people with Asperger's who really study, and some people out there, found out some things, okay? You try to deal with your militant government when you try to be nice and go, we don't want fluoride in the water. They'll punch you in the head and throw you in the stream and say, you're an antagonist. And they're the ones that it takes resolve to get rid of these nut jobs, to get them out of the government. Anyway, I'm rambling, I know, which is part of autism. It's digressing. My answer to everybody about this whole problem with people not understanding Asperger's syndrome and the toxicities that are in the body from copper and fluoride and all that is, it's hard to explain to people that fluoride is cumulative. If you keep taking, it's like the frog in the pot, and that I think is the biggest example in the world of what's happening. Incrementally and slowly, everything's being taken over, including your brain. You're being poisoned slowly. That's the truth, people. Take care.